Today we are diving into chapter 23 of Tanya together. So at this point you might be wondering, if everything is all part of Akhdut Havai, of God's absolute unity, which is all Shevat, it's all just the same, we're all just literally in God, then how are Torah mitzvahs any different than a table and a chair? I mean, if a table and a chair are within God. So what makes Torah mitzvahs so special, so unique? We will now explore the profound uniqueness of Torah mitzvahs, how they are God's inner will versus the world being God's external will. So at this point, the Alter Rebbe has really tripped us out on God's unity, to the point that we're just like experiencing it. Like everyone who talks to you is part of God's unity. Any chair you sit on is part of God's unity. And so if everything's just like in this unity, it's all in God, we're like, okay, so what do Torah mitzvahs, what's the special flavor of Torah mitzvahs that adds to my life? The Torah and God are totally one. Quote from the Zohar. Another quote from the Zohar. The 248 mitzvahs are the 248 organs, the malka, of the king. AKA, mitzvahs are a pure and unadulterated expression of God himself. We're going to explore the true significance of these two verses later on in chapter 23. Torah mitzvahs are God's inner will. It's for this purpose that he created the higher and the lower worlds, meaning the world of Atzilus, and Bria, and Yetzirah, and Asiya, all of the higher mystical spiritual worlds of angels. All of that was created for the purpose of Torah mitzvahs. And every sea creature and every bit of particle in this world, all of this world was created for the purpose of Torah and mitzvahs. For a Jew to connect to their source, the Makar Chaim, the source of life, God in this world. Through this rope God is sending us to attach through, this rope that has 613 strands, which are the 613 mitzvahs of the Torah. So when you're driving to a wedding, what's your inner will? Is you want to see the bride, you want to see the groom, you want to take photos, you want to see them under their chuppah, you want to dance with the bride. Like your inner will is that you want to get to the wedding. Your external will is that you want to drive. Why? Because you want to get there. So it's really a means to actually get to your inner will. The life, energy, and flow to all the world is contingent on mitzvah observance in our world. So what we're explaining is that God's chatzonius ratzon, God's external will, is to create klipas and sitra achra, and it's going to make a real world. What do you mean by a world? We mean something that, an arena where we can actually choose God, a place where we can actually have free will. But of course, Hashem's inner will is that we're going to choose Him, right? That we're actually going to choose to have this authentic relationship that can only take place in a world that actually is concealing godliness. Because if it's just open and revealed godliness, if we're choosing God in the highest world of Atzilus, there's no choice. Of course we choose Hashem. So all the backdrop of this world is to allow us to make this daily and constant choice of choosing God in our life. Since the whole point of the world is to facilitate Torah and mitzvahs, right? Mitzvah literally meaning connection. The world's existence depends on them. In fact, it's through Torah mitzvahs the life energy flows to the world. So if you're getting the image of like a super Jew with a cape in your mind, that's about right, okay? Torah and mitzvahs allow life-giving energy to flow to the world. So it falls on mitzvah acts, so that the mitzvah acts as they are stated in the Torah and their fulfillment when the mitzvahs are actually observed are deep vehicles of expression for God's inner will. Since each of these acts causes the light and life energy from God's will to be dressed in the worlds. Meaning, when you light your Shabbat candles, you are drawing down God's endless light into this physical world. When you take a moment, take a deep breath, and talk to your child kindly, you are drawing God's endless light into this world. When you cook for Shabbos, you're drawing God's endless light into the world. When you put on your tefillin, you are drawing God's endless light into the world. Whenever mitzvah applies to us, whatever that mitzvah of the moment is, and there's always a mitzvah of the moment, that is allowing me to draw down God's endless light to be dressed up into the worlds.